So I hope by now you agree with me that XLOOKUP is awesome. I've never been more impatient about getting a feature in my Excel. I hope you're also able to access this function in your own Excel versions, but if you can't, be patient, and Microsoft will soon be rolling it out for all its versions. Let's conclude by listing all the ways that I feel XLOOKUP is an awesome function. And we start off by the first one, which is no more counting columns. How many of us have worked with very, very large data sheets where the lookup value is in column 1 and the return value that we want is in column 26? And then you're basically trying to select this entire array of the values in the middle, and also trying to keep in mind that you don't miss the count. And well, you just don't need to do that anymore, because there is no need for you to select all the columns in the middle. You can just select the first one, which is your lookup array, and then the last one, which is your return array. And I think that's wonderful, which brings us to one of the most redundant arguments that we needed to pass in our earlier VLOOKUP functions, which was when you would end with a comma 0, which said that, well, I want an exact match. Isn't that what we want most of the time? Well, thankfully, XLOOKUP makes it the default, which means you do not need to specify it anymore. Thank you. I know that's just a couple of keyboard clicks, but well, it makes my life simpler and I love it. I think this is something which we will all agree with. Sometimes we had our lookup value, which was not before our return value, and then we had to rearrange our entire data sheet just so that they could be in the right order. Well, now your lookup value can be to the left or the right of your return value, and the XLOOKUP function will still work, which is lovely, because the earlier constraint made no sense to me at all. Of course, as we've seen, it works with both vertical arrays as well as horizontal arrays, just making it simpler rather than having to learn to use two functions for the vertical lookup and the horizontal lookup. Well, you can also use XLOOKUP to create approximate matches, which is what we saw in our previous video. I used to earlier do this using the lookup function, which was actually a very favorite function of mine. But XLOOKUP makes it so much easier, and I think it's just great that I can now do 3 things using just one function. And this brings us to the if not found argument. Basically, every single time I used a VLOOKUP or an HLOOKUP function, I would encapsulate it within an if error or an if NA function. Just because I did not like seeing those hash NA values in my sheet, I thought it made the table look a little bit messy and unclean. So I would always use one of these extra functions. Well, now I don't need to anymore. I can just add this argument within my XLOOKUP function itself. And then that brings us to my absolute favorite reason why XLOOKUP is awesome. And that's the ability that it has to return multiple values. Using just a single lookup array and a single function entry, I can actually pull multiple values of data automatically. I think it's beautiful. We kind of demonstrated that to you in a very quick way in the VLOOKUP video. But I have to tell you that when I tried it for the first time, it actually took my breath away. Just so much repetitive work done away with such a beautiful little tweak to what a function can do. And this is why I think XLOOKUP is awesome. I hope you think it's awesome as well. And if you would like to share your thoughts about it, go ahead and write to us in our discussion forums and the Q&A section. I think this is a function that requires a little bit of playing around with. So what we are doing is we are actually going to give you the option of playing around with another data set in your own time and submit your answers to some simple questions if you'd like a little bit more practice. So go ahead and find out a little bit more about that in our next bonus section. And if you found this video helpful and if you felt that I managed to convince you that XLOOKUP is a powerhouse of a function which is completely awesome and incredible, then do give us a 5-star review. And if you think that we left something out, then please share feedback to us so that we can improve it. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope to see you in our next courses.